Alright, well, what's up YouTube? Working on the smaller rat wagon. This one's for the buddy of mine. I'll go ahead and build this one. I just got done welding on the rear axles. So what I did was I built the chassis. So far the frame is built out of half-inch square tubing. And basically just made a rectangle to fit. And here we go. It's an old Radio Super. It's one of the smaller ones. Showed it in one of my other videos, but like I said, just got done welding on the axles. I'm going to weld on a couple brackets up here at the front here, and this bracket. Now these came from a ladder assembly that I had taken apart just for the hardware and things. So anyway, those are going to go there. I'm going to weld them on so I can bolt it to the chassis without having to, or bolt it to the tub without having to modify anything or drill holes. Basically leaving the originals. So once I'm done with this, I'll flip it over and I'll show you exactly how I mounted the back part of this, because I'm not bolting that on with tabs. That one's actually bolted to the frame itself. So, show you in a second. Okay, changed my mind. Instead of using these little L brackets, because I could probably use those for something later on, basically I'm going to take that piece, buzz it in half, and lay that up under there and weld it. Already marked one side, kinda. But anyway, these are the bolts I'm going to use up top. They're very low profile, smooth, so when the head of that is up underneath, you know, if you're to set something in there, it's not really going to catch on the head of that very good. And I have lock nuts to go on the other end of that. So I'm going to buzz this in half real quick and put it in there, bolt it in, tack it, and then cut off the extra after I take the chassis off to do some finish welding and stuff like that in the corners. And kind of get everything touched up, so then the chassis will be good and strong, ready to go. And then I have to put the front frame assembly on out this end to attach the front axle, which is right there. Zoom in slow. So then I can put the wheels on. So the wheels I'm going to be putting on this one are the bigger wheels are going in the rear, the old school wheels are going in the front. I'm probably going to white wall the rear tires. And since the front ones are old school, I'm just going to leave them as is. Threw a coat of wax on them, so they look pretty decent. And those ones have metal bushings. The rear ones have actual bearings in them. So anyway, should be pretty BA when it's done. I'll do obviously a final shot, but then this one's going to get a few other added touches as far as accessories, which I do not have here because I just moved. So I got to go through storage and dig that stuff out. But you'll see it again here in a little bit. Okay, so got little tabs welded on there and cut to size, so those are ready to go. Here you can see the tops of the axle. This is just the chassis sitting here. Now, so for the top, there's two holes that actually correspond with these two right here, and then these screws, I drilled and tapped these holes so I could thread this right through the top of the tub and into the holes right there. So you can see, nice and awesome, good to go. Now, and then for these I will put, you know, like I said, these bolts drop down through there through the top and bolt on with nuts. So but this is half-inch square tubing. I just did a couple finish welds on the inside just to strengthen it up a little bit. The tub is not perfect. As you can see, there's a few holes in it, right? Especially up at that end. Hey, the mounting holes were cracked, so I did some welds on there just to strengthen it up. But you know, this is going to be like a, I don't know, swap meet wagon. So, and the guy that I'm giving it to actually does woodwork, so he can put a wood bed in it or something, wood floor. Now the piece that I got is this piece here. That's my piece of 1-inch or half-inch square tubing. Now this section is probably a good, I'd say 10 foot long. The cool thing was that I found that was actually 18 foot long. I found it along the highway and I jumped out to grab it and I realized it was 18 foot long and would not fit on my car, so I had to fold it in half. But I was able to throw it up on top of my car, strap it down, and then take off, and brought it home. So free materials, man, you can't go wrong. So hopefully this half-inch square will be strong enough for me to actually I don't know, we'll see how strong and rigid it is. It is a smaller wagon. Nobody's really going to be sitting in it, so should be strong enough. But, so I'm going to throw the chassis on the tub and throw the wheels on it and see what it looks like. Well, okay, so rear wheels are on. Just need to get some nuts to hold those on high. What? Are you jealous? You're just fine laying down until I turn the camera on. So, for the front axle, I want to do like an actual steering. I don't want to do like a wagon steering. I want to do like actual, whatever the heck you call it. Anyway, where it actually steers the wheel left and right. So, that's mocked up with, actually looks cool with the brick, with the holes in it. So, back wheels are on. My buddy gave me these lights the other day, some chicken lights there, so those actually look kind of cool. They're a little big for this project, but I don't know, they might work. Didn't really plan on putting them on there, but I could. I have this thing, I don't know what it is. Came with some motorcycle parts, I think, that I got. I was trying to think if I could, I don't know, let's see, maybe something like that. Actually, maybe if it came out a little bit more. It's kind of cool. Nope, and the wheels fall off this project. Literally. Do this without scratching my paint and messing up my wax job. Alright. I don't know. Stand up wheel. Okay. So, whatever. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I'll be able to figure out something with that. Or, maybe here someplace. Like that. It's kind of narrow. I don't know. Yeah, it looks cool though. So, once I get the front chassis made, sticking out the frame rails and things so I can figure out how exactly I want to do this. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be a pondering process. I gotta get some lunch. I'm hungry. You hungry? Oh. You're as bad as a wife. You look away at the camera. Bath time. Okay. Whatever. Alright, getting ready to weld up some of the steering components. So, as you can see right there, focus. Alright, basically took a piece of the 1/2-inch square tube, ground out kind of a half moon shape, and then threw these bushings in there. Hey look, who's in the way? Out of the way, jerk. Okay, so, once again, there's a 1/2-inch square cut down and then bushing. So I'm going to weld to the side of there, trying to make them kind of even, about halfway up the side of the bushing, just like thus. So I'm going to go ahead and tack these together, and then that'll be part of my axle. Then in between I'll put a straight piece, and it'll be actually kind of a drop axle, because those pieces of square tube will mount on top of the actual axle itself. Alright, so welcome back to the rat wagon build. Humid today, so I apologize if the camera ends up fogging up. But here's where I am so far. So, took some flat pieces of metal that had holes drilled in them and turned these into, these are going to be part of my spindle assembly. These are the bolts that fit through the front wheels. So I still have to drill a hole right there to run these bolts through, and then just like, you know, kind of like that. So they're going to run through there, and then I will weld those on the back side. And then these will be my, basically my control arms on the end. So these will mount on here, like thusly, and then the bolt will stick out from here to be the axle. So something like this. So then this will actually steer. So these were some bushings that were out of, I think some roller skate wheels or something of the sort. Some sort of something had a bushing in it, so that's what worked. So these will go through there. These bolts will run all the way through to connecting them to here like this. And there's a lock washer or a lock nut on the bottom. So now didn't get my bends exactly perfect. I'm about a quarter of a hole off on that one, so it's going to have a slight tilt to it. Not bad. I'm pretty sure the wheel will compensate. This one's pretty good, almost directly over top of the other one, but it's not perfectly square because trying to put two 90-degree bends in a vise doesn't work out very well. So had to get creative. So these are going to be my front frame area. It's going to stick out. I think I cut these at about 11.5 inches, something like that. So they're going to stick out there, and that's what my front axle is going to mount to. So I got cut a couple more pieces in order to mount that, put the steering on, and then figure out the rest of the steering. Oh, almost flipped over. The rest of the steering components. Have to have an arm coming off to hook my clevises to in order for the steering to actually work. So I have to assemble this hardware here, and then that will be that. So see how far I get today. Got an all day to work in the garage. Okay, took the tub back off the chassis, got the front area cut to size. I ended up measuring that at about 5.5 inches wide for the part where the front steering is going to go. So I'll just leave it at that for now. I got to do a couple of finish welds just to get that nice and sturdy before I start building the rest of that and attaching things. So I'm going to do a couple quick touch-up welds just to kind of make it a little more rigid, and I'll let y'all watch me do that. Okay, let's see if we can make this weld look respectable. Put my gloves on. I already broke my finger once. Hoorah for welding shorts. Handle hold. Turn around, do the other side. There we go. That'll work. Got it old and strong enough now, so I can get a few other things done.